welcome to Goodberry!
Welcome to Goodberry!
Hi, everybody.
Hi! I thought I'd try to say it at the same time as you today.
Pretty close.
I'm sure there was a lag, yeah. I should probably try to say it like a second earlier than you, and then it'll be up at the same time.
Yeah. Hi, Swanetti. First one in the chat today. Hello.
Hello! And then Silent Bud Medley. And Goodberry Alex. Well, hello.
Who's Goodberry Alex?
Who's that?
Is that a super fan of Hello Goodberry?
Super fan. 100%.
So today we're doing just chatting. We're just hanging out. We could probably talk for hours anyway, so...
there's always something to talk about, so we figured it'd be cool to just do that with you guys.
I'm gonna start out by eating some dark chocolate.
I think that's a great idea. Every stream would be better if we started it out that way. Andy told me that he would bring me some food at some point, and that makes me very happy. I'm easy to please. All it takes, just feed me, and that's pretty much it.
Same.
And he does such a good job at feeding me. So, big ups to Andy. We love you too, Spinetti. Hi. Man, I was thinking about it. I was like, I need to talk to April and see if she and I can do a Just Chatting at some point. Because I finally finished all of Terrace House.
Oh, yeah?
Not all of it, but the most recent season. And I have so many thoughts. I just want to spew them out.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I mean...
At some point.
It's complicated at this point for me. But, yeah. It's an interesting watch, though, for sure. And I might go back to some earlier seasons if you want to join me on that. We could do that together.
I hope it's like Survivor, like...
It's not.
Kind of like silly, not in that like the topic, but in that it's like reality TV that's a little like mindless, juicy viewing. Like it just makes you feel good and excited.
Yeah, I mean, Terrace House is definitely a different brand of reality TV because its whole thing is that it's not drama packed. So
okay.
Whereas Survivor is like, I feel like they kind of lean into the camp.
Oh,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean? Whereas like Terrace House, it's more like, I don't know. People are really generally pretty polite to each other, and they get crushes and stuff. Though this last season, something that I realized is the show has a problem with. Some sexism and in terms of ideas around consent and also like slut shaming and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. So this is the kind of stuff I want to get like deep into it.
Hi, Paleo Gaming.
Because hello. Because when I watched the earlier seasons, I didn't really. There were a few times where I was like, oh, that's a little. Well, what are you gonna do? But this season, it was like really intense and pretty uncomfortable in some places. So I just really want to talk about it.
That's no good when it gets worse the newer the seasons go on, because I did watch the best of Survivor when I first started watching it, and I kind of worked my way back, and then at one point... Hey, thank you for the subscription, Twins, and thank you so much for supporting the channel for 7 months. You the best.
Yes, you are the best.
When I went back, or as I was watching, I was like, I love that. Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did I?
Totally gonna steal that. Went back and watched season 1 for posterity, and there was some homophobia. There was some sexism, if I recall correctly, or at least like one of the women had fake boobs, and one of the other ladies on the show was like, I've never seen somebody with, those. And it was like, just a little like judgmental and distasteful in some ways. But I was like, okay, this came out when? Like, they've had fucking 40 seasons to like fine tune this and really figure out.
40 seasons? Oh my god.
I think it's more, yeah.
Is that 2 seasons a year? Or? Wow, that's wild.
Mm, I should audition.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about, I thought that I remember growing up and thinking that the world was pretty progressive when I was growing up, but now that I look back on it, I'm like, damn,
Because we were whitewashed.
we've grown so much. Yeah, exactly, whitewashed, and also I think I don't know what the sexism washed of some in some way. You know what I mean? Like
Patriarched?
patriarched.
Patriarched?
I feel like there's a crossover word. It's gonna come to me. Don't worry, I'll come up with it. Anyway, yeah. So I feel like there was just I didn't know what I didn't know. You know, I think that's all. That's what it is. When you're growing up, you just don't know what's weird and what's normal and what's okay and what's not.
If no one challenges you on it before you are like, I don't know, maybe like 18, like when you're a fully fledged adult, if no one has challenged you, I think that there is an excuse for having some misconceptions about the world. But once you get to a certain age, all bets are off. You have to go out in the world and you have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And educate yourself.
Though it is easy, even for adults, to be stuck in their ways because they've never left their little comfort pod or whatever. Patriotized? That just sounds like you became a citizen. Impatriated. And watching it, like, even we're talking about like being in a culture where you grew up and no one ever questioned you, but even watching this last season of Terrace House, like in those moments, like, so I probably told you before, but the format of the show is that they show, you watch what's happening with the actual housemates, and then you go to the panelists who comment on it, and they kind of say what they're thinking, and a lot of times they say what you're thinking too, and it's cathartic that way. But
this is very different from Survivor and any other reality show that I've seen, really.
Yeah, same, and that's kind of why I liked it, I think, because, well, I'll get into that in a second, but here, so I was watching the part of the show where it's just you're watching the contestants and like cringing hard. I was texting April being like, oh my god, this person on the show, oh, he needs to be an example of what men should never do, and just like texting her all that. I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable. And then it went to the panelists and they didn't really say much about it. They were like, they said for like a second, like for a little bit in the beginning, they called what the guy was doing uncomfortable. And then they were like, kind of like, but the girl is kind of asking for it kind of thing. And so, like, long story short, so that you have some context, it's like this guy starts pursuing this girl right off the bat, and as soon as he gets into the house, and starts taking her on dates and stuff, which is all fine. But then they're up in a viewing tower, a beautiful viewing tower in Kyoto, and he reaches his arm around her to kiss her. Now, mind you, he'd already snuck a kiss in on her like a few episodes before. He bought her some lip gloss, put his finger in it, put it on her, and then snuck a kiss.
Non-consensually?
Yeah, well, it kind of just came out of nowhere. So it was.
So she didn't have time to say no or to stop it or decide.
Yeah, it was kind of like. Yeah, it was a very fast kiss too. It wasn't like she had time to really kiss back or not. I mean, it was, but after this woman's personality is just kind of very. She's been impatriotized, I think, or whatever the word is that we're going to come up with, because she doesn't. She clearly has a really hard time saying no.
Hi, Greedy Pete.
Hi. And being and she's very sweet, and she should definitely learn to put her foot down and be like, no, leave me alone more. However, that does not excuse what this guy has done. So anyway, he did that quick kiss on her, and then later in the tower he tried to kiss her again, and he kept saying, like, turn your head toward me, and she goes, no, I don't want to. And he's like, I'm not going to do anything. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And she probably said no like 15 times.
Whoa.
And he kept trying to get her to kiss him. And she was just like, saying no. So yeah, there's all kinds of creepy shit that, and there's even more weird stuff that happened later
I want to
on.
discuss this with you too.
I
It was just
know,
a way for me
right?
to just like put it all on a USB stick and download it into my brain.
I know. Well, I could send you that one episode or those a couple of episodes if you want.
Yeah,
You could
yeah,
see
yeah.
like
I'm due for some mindless TV right now.
yeah.
I'm watching Dave, and I just started watching the Mindy Project. I get to TV shows so late.
Jess, you and I could have a 3-hour conversation about Dave if you want.
Okay, so Alex and I have discussed Dave. Well, before, let's hold that thought really quick.
At length.
Spinetti says we all know most men kind of suck. Not Andy though. Yes, all men suck,
No.
except for a very select few who are good berries.
Yeah,
Proven
in our
themselves
chat.
good berries.
Exactly.
Dan has a daughter, so he's Paleo Gaming's all for burning down the patriarchy.
Nice.
I'm just guessing that's why, because he has a daughter.
Yeah,
and-
I'm very pro men. I love men. I have so many wonderful men in my life, luckily. I'm pro men being free of the patriarchy too, and
Yeah,
being able
totally.
to. I mean, like on the show too, there's all these ideas about like what makes a masculine man.
Thank
and,
you for
like,
the subscription, Angel.
Yes, thank
7
you!
months.
Woo, 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 woo.
Thank you so
Yes,
much for your
toxic
support.
masculinity sucks for everyone, men and women. So, and those in between, of course. So, yeah, down with it all. But yeah, it would be cool to discuss with you because the reason I like the show is probably part of the reason why a lot of people like reality TV. I just like to look at people's behavior and try to figure out why they do the things that they do.
Yeah, totally. That's
You
the fun
know?
of it.
Yeah, the
And
psychology behind it.
That's
is so
why I
interesting
love
to me.
Survivor, because the part
Yeah.
of the social game is like I can't with it. I just can't. It's like manipulation and lying, but doing it in a way where you have to seem like you're a good guy. And I mean, the people who've won multiple times is baffling to me, because
Really?
the first time around they've done their sneaky shit. Like, you basically can't win unless you're a sneaky fuck, because if you're too nice, somebody will take advantage of you. I've seen it so many times. Somebody will take advantage of you at the last second and win. So for that person to go through the show again and
Yeah,
win,
and get away with it again.
and people are like, yeah, totally, I'll do whatever you say and not vote you off. I'm like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
It's happened several times, though. There's a couple winners who've won multiple times on Survivor.
Really?
Mhm.
See, I feel like I would be pretty bad because I
Same.
don't. Like in a game like Among Us or something where you have to lie in the moment for like an hour or so, I can lie no problem. But if I'm living my day to day, I can't live a lie. You know, like I.
Well, it is a game.
Yeah, but it's a it's a
That's
game that
helpful.
takes place over like weeks, right? Like months.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty on how long.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's not like an hour.
no,
Right?
no.
Like,
It's
you have to-
several weeks for sure. I think it's like
Yeah.
30 or 40 days, something like that.
Yeah, I
Somebody
think
in
yeah, I
chat
think
know?
it's just the long-term lying would get to me, and I think
Yeah.
I would. The thing about lying is you have to keep up with all of your lies. Lies beget more lies, and then you have to keep up with it all, you know. And I just
But
I
it's
just like
fun to
being
watch somebody
myself.
else do it.
yeah, it is really fun to totally, because I mean you can imagine the mental gymnastics that they're probably doing and having
Yeah.
to keep up with everything.
Well, and if the producers and the camera guys have done their job, then you're seeing that thought process,
Yeah,
because they're
Yeah.
saying it to the camera off the side.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Do you feel like with Survivor that do you want to believe that that's the people's real personalities, or do you feel like it's definitely skewed and edited to make people look a certain way or fit into a certain role?
The latter. Well,
Mm.
and it's like any other reality show. This, I think, probably was also something that was honed over time, is they also pick people with certain personalities. They're not,
Yeah.
but yeah, so they're picking people, and there's definitely tons of editing going on. I mean, you can tell sometimes that there'll be little comments, and I'm like, either that felt like coached or
Yeah.
like edited in a different place, or they're like trying to
Yeah.
like pit people against each other. But it's not. Obviously, I enjoy the show, so I really don't think it's done in an unpalatable way. I think it's just kind of like, yeah. I mean, we're here. Why? You know, like to
Yeah,
just check
yeah.
out and watch something stupid. So, But
Yeah,
I was gonna say
totally.
something about another thing that's pretty great about the show is that you don't have to be the fittest or the best at anything
Mhm.
to, other than maybe the social game, to
You
win.
just have to be clever.
Like Parvati, one of the more famous winners.
I even
She
recognize that name, I think.
Parvati,
Actually.
it's a
Uh-huh.
yeah. She, the season that I watched where she won, she was bad at the physical games. She was okay at the logic games.
Mhm.
And she won because she banded together with a group of women and then stuck with one other girl the whole time, and then it came down to those two.
Wow.
So
So,
the weaker, it was like her and another chick who was not good at the physical stuff, or she was like okay at the physical stuff. But if you're
so it was about building the alliance.
yeah, if you're really good at the physical stuff, you probably won't win. Like the guy
Oh,
who won
interesting.
that I'm referencing, who won twice,
Mm-hmm.
I think he was much better at the physical stuff than he let on, because he knew that he couldn't look too strong or he would get voted off.
Mm.
He kind of finessed that. I'm like, oh.
Oh, so people vote people off when they see that they're too strong.
Yeah.
Got
Eventually.
it.
At first, they want strong people so they can win the challenges and get like fire and food and
Yeah.
prizes. And then towards the end, when they want to win the $1 million, they're like, okay, who's my opponent?
Yeah. Mm.
I can't believe we're talking about Survivor right now. It's so
Why
old.
not?
I'm just embarrassed
have
that it's
you-
so old.
Have you tried to get into The Circle at all? That show?
I
The
feel like I've
Circle?
seen an episode of it. Super relevant stream, gals. I know.
Yeah, 2 shows that. Wait, is Survivor? It's not airing anymore, like new episodes, right?
Yeah, it's still on.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, then that's relevant. I mean, Terrace House has been canceled, so it.
Oh, really?
Totally not. Well, it's not canceled. It's just they had a lot of shit go down.
Well, yeah, and you said
And,
somebody committed suicide, right?
Yeah, yeah. And that was one of many things. That was the biggest thing, of course. But yeah.
That'll cancel a show.
That'll cancel a show for sure. And yeah, and that whole situation did bring up questions about the same thing. Like, are they coaching people to act a certain way or say a certain thing? Because Hannah, the girl who did pass away, said that they coached her to do something that she would never do. And
Really?
yeah, and that she got all kinds of negative feedback from that.
Wow.
And that contributed, people say. But I also think that the pandemic contributed to her low state, because her job had been, she says in the show that her job had been, she was like a professional wrestler. Her job had been put on hold and she was just getting like the very minimal pay. And then because of coronavirus, she was at home by herself, couldn't have family or friends visit. I think she was just in a really low place. And then that on top of the cyberbullying was just too much,
So this happened after
So-
the show was done? Because you said she was home.
I think she had probably left the house at this point. I don't know, because up on the episodes, I watched the final episode that they had actually aired, and they have a few episodes that they filmed but didn't air. So I doubt we'll ever see those. It's crazy, but people can leave the house whenever they want, but it said that her agents encouraged her to stay longer than she really wanted to. So yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see those episodes, but on the last episode that I watched, she was still in the house. So
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So a canceled TV show and a TV show that started in the early '90s, or probably late '90s. But The Circle, you said you have tried it or no?
I feel like I have seen one episode of it, but I can't remember. So maybe I have.
That is one that's on Netflix now. And I started the first season. Some of my friends were like obsessed with it and talking about it all the time. But I just couldn't get hooked on the first season. And I honestly think that a big part of it is the dramatic music and editing that they
Uh-huh.
it's just too much for me. Like when I hear
Google it.
And
my
then,
God.
you know, it's like,
Survivor
or
is so
like,
bad with that.
I can't. I'm like, stop telling me how to feel. I'll feel how I
The
feel. You know?
Circle. Season, I think, let's see, season 1. I watched
But I
something.
heard season 2 is much better,
Ah,
or it's good.
I
anyway.
did begin watching this. Yeah, I got about halfway, and then I don't think I cared enough.
Yeah, that's what happened to me too. The first season, I watched probably about 4 episodes, and I was waiting for it to catch me, but never did. What shows are like that for you besides Star Trek? What shows have you watched that you were like, I'm waiting for the thing that everybody says that they love about this, and then it just never grabbed you?
Besides which show? Oh, Star Trek.
I am just
Well, what is that? The horror show. Hill Manor, House on the Hill Manor.
Haunting at Hill House.
Yeah, that
or was
show.
was it Bly Manor? That one or both?
The first one. I watched
The Haunting of Hill House.
one or two episodes of, because I'll always give it at least 2 episodes, and at the time everybody was like, this show is so good, and I watched it and I was like, I was watching it with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, maybe we just don't get it. Like, okay, we'll watch. This is bad. We'll watch one more and see. And I think we may have watched 2 or 3 episodes, and we were like, we don't understand. This is not good. And then we watched the second season. I watched that one almost all the way through, and it was just so bad, and people love it.
Yeah, you know, I watched all of Haunting of Hill House, and I was waiting the whole time to be scared. I wanted it to be a scary show.
Yeah.
You know, and there were a few really good jump scares that got me, but
Well, the second season's not scary at all.
Oh no, no. I much prefer the first season to the second.
That's
season.
what I've heard.
But both of them were kind of like, I don't know, the friends who I have who defend it say like, but it's not about being scary, it's about the emotional journey.
But
and
also,
I'm like,
I want it to be
okay.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, just be baseline a good show.
I didn't hate it. I'll say that. I wasn't like, what the fuck do people like about this? I could see, for me, what kept me coming back, I think, was just like the want to be scared and to figure out what was going on. You know, but I can see why it lost you too, because I couldn't tell you what happened in the first few episodes. You know, like it wasn't until the end that I'm like, oh, now this is interesting. But yeah.
One show that I did actually hate that I think other people like, but I really don't know how, is Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
I watched every single episode going, please get better, please get better, please.
And chat, listen, if you like these shows, that is totally okay. You are allowed to like what you like.
Yeah.
We're not gonna single you out and be like, or anything, you know, like.
We are not the arbiters of what is
like
good and bad.
I'm a huge Weird Al fan. Some people can't stand the sound of his voice, you know? So like what you like, it's all okay. But yeah, Jess doesn't like Umbrella Academy. I've never seen it, so.
I mean, Robert Sheehan is one of my favorite actors, so I watched it for him. And I bet the comic books are really good. The premise is really cool. The kid actor's brilliant. There's so many amazing pieces of it. I mean, the costuming, the set, like the design of the show is really cool. But the script is fucking bad.
Yeah.
And the acting is like, I could be wrong here, but I feel like you can kind of tell when there's a bad script and the actors are doing their best. And you're like, this actor seems like they're not good, but I really just think it's a bad script. In this case, I was like, oh no, they're just not
bad.
good, because the good actors were really good, and they inhabited their role and they made it sound good. So I'm like, okay, well, there's no excuses for the rest of the characters to just be bad. So and I don't. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Paleo Gaming Dan says, I like it, but I liked the comics. I think that is important, that like if you have a nostalgia history with it, or if you've committed to reading the book or the comics or whatever it is, you're more likely to enjoy the parts of it that resonated with you in the comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Game of
But
Thrones is a great example of that.
yeah, yeah. And Sneed's Feed and Seed said, "I love Walton Goggins."
I love Walton Goggins too. He was such a great part of what's the show? What's the TV show? About the church, about the mega church.
Oh,
Front of the house, the pickle in my mouth.
gemstones. Yeah, gemstones. Righteous gemstones.
Yeah, Cody Roku. Everyone loves Walton Goggins. Yes.
Wait, who does Walton Goggins play? I'm not very good with actors.
He is the shitty brother with the like wig
Is he
and the teeth.
Uncle Baby Bobby?
Yes, Baby Billy.
Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah,
Uncle Baby Billy?
he's also in Hateful Eight. He's amazing in Hateful Eight.
I love him. He's so funny in Righteous Gemstones. He's incredible.
Yeah.
And he's in everything now.
Is he?
You know?
I haven't seen him since then.
Well, I see him a lot because he's on Justified and Andy watches that.
Oh,
so.
yes, Sneed's Feed and Seed just put a couple of projects in the chat. It's Justified. I haven't seen that.
So let me tell you about the show that I didn't like. I poured 8 episodes into Master of None.
Oh, I never watched that one all the way through.
I could not. To me, the script was really shaky. It just like, I was constantly asking like, why did they do this? That doesn't make sense that they would do this if they had done this, or like, logically it makes no sense. Just like the logistics of the script, and then even the dialogue was like really weak to me. And then a lot of people thought it was really cute that he hired his parents to play his parents. But I could, all that I thought because I didn't know that when I started watching it. That
you're just like, why are these people not good at acting?
Yeah, I was like, these actors are horrible. There are so many better actors out there. Why wouldn't you hire a better actor? And then I realized, and everybody was like, oh, it's his parents. It's so cute. I'm like,
well,
no, it's not cute.
In Pen 15, have you seen Pen 15?
Oh yeah.
Love that show. I can't wait for the third season. Or second half of the second season. That's her real mom, Maya's real mom, and she did a fantastic job.
I agree. I thought she was awesome.
A little stiff at first, but also that was kind of her character. And then eventually in the second season they gave her a lot more, and she was really great.
Totally. And I think that the Master of None was, people saw it for being important, and I think it was important for representation for Aziz Ansari's culture and experience. But just because something's important doesn't mean the writing is good.
That's true. We got a couple comments in chat. You know what I like? This amazing show called The Dungeon Run. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Everybody tune into The Dungeon Run Wednesdays.
I'm excited to get to our next big thing. Just to summarize, there is a Chrono Dragon, which is this like immense, crazy homebrew dragon that can transcend time. It is like it's like a kind of like a he can control time, and
interesting.
We are going to his grave. We've met him in an alternate timeline, and now we're going to his grave because that is important to the story. And we may or may not pass through my hometown for the first time after playing for however many years we've been playing. And
so exciting.
I hope that we do get to. And once we find him, we're gonna barter with a queen who's mysteriously alive after 350 years, and she has information that may reveal my past. So lots of backstory stuff coming up in the next year.
That's exciting.
Yeah, who knows? To do all that shit.
It could take forever.
Yeah.
But it'll be worth it, and people will stick with it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Especially backstory stuff is so satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, we just did Ugo's backstory and kind of got to know more about the orcs and kind of played on why they were so angry, like rageful, and it wasn't because they were orcs. It was because there was this like cultural thing happening with tapping into like this dark power, and they just didn't know any better, and there are human researchers there, and they're now challenging their beliefs, and it got deep.
Interesting. Cool. Man, it's amazing how thoughtful you have to be when you're DMing, you know? Like when I was doing Yolithimor, I remember, especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning, I was like, all right, if I have to make a decision about who the big bad is, and I want to make sure that that decision doesn't make it look like anyone in our real world is the big bad based on their creed, you know, or their, you know what I mean, or their culture or something. I didn't want to like mirror any real life culture and make it seem like that was bad. But you got to have some kind of a big bad, so it's got to be otherworldly. You know, it's tough. You have to really be thoughtful, you know, when you're planning this stuff.
Yeah, damning is so tough. I think you have to have a knack for it, you know, or at least a desire to stick with it and to do the research and the preparation, I should say.
Preparation is huge, absolutely. Have you been practicing your magic?
Not since we played. No, that was only a couple
me
days
neither.
ago, right? That was Tuesday.
Yeah, it was only day before yesterday. Yeah. I just asked because it took me a few days to actually close down the program of the arena.
It took you 2 days to close it down?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, work has been really, really busy for me lately. So a lot of times when I'm before I'm streaming, I'm working, and right after I'm streaming, I'm getting ready to work on the next thing. So it's just kind of like I just close the windows and keep going. I really need to restart my computer. Anyway, will there be more Yolithimor? Jersey Thompson asks. Well,
someday.
It's possible. It's possible. There's a lot of things that we could expand on in the world. You know, there's definitely more to mine there. So I think it's a possibility. But first, I would love to do just a sit down table talk with everybody who was in Yolithimor.
Yeah.
Just kind of a little reunion, have some drinks.
Uh-huh.
I'll have some mocktails and just talk about the experience. Even though it's been so long, we can talk about, like, you know, everything. We can talk about lots of stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to get a multicam setup on that so we could get everybody's faces in. If we were meeting up in real life. But I guess we could always meet virtually and
I'd love to do it in real life if we could.
Be more fun, I think.
Yeah. Abdullah Eng says, I pick a topic. Yes.
What is it?
Would you like to pick a topic?
You
pick a topic.
You pick a
you
topic.
Pick.
You pick, we
Feel
talk.
free. Feel free. Yeah, you know, so I told Rob that I was playing Magic: The Gathering, and he was like, "Oh, awesome! I play on Arena all the time. Do you want to play right now?" And I was like, "I can't right now. I'm doing a lot of stuff, but soon." So many times this week, since our last stream, which was 2 days ago,
It's felt like
been
forever,
like, I should practice, you know, like maybe. But then it's also kind of daunting because there's so much to learn, or there's so many rules, you know. Why do Western people ignore the spiritual aspects of life?
Well, I think that's a little bit broad of a question, so we can kind of, always confined in the material life. Well, I think that question is obviously biased, but that doesn't mean we can't answer it. And I think that is because there's a lot of Western people who are Christian, and they are spiritual that's not confined to their material life. They do believe that there is something beyond their material life. And Western people as a whole are not homogenous at all.
That's true. There's a lot of different kinds of people
The United States,
within the term Western people.
Yeah, United States in particular is a huge melting pot. We don't have any, religion that's tied to the United States, despite, yes,
what some people will tell you.
We do have Christian aspects in our Constitution. We have God, but so
and the UK too is a great melting pot. I mean, a lot of different kinds of people in the UK. So yeah, I mean, I think that I think that Kodu Roku makes a good point when they say in the USA, the society is designed from the top down to keep as many people bogged down in survival as possible. I do think that it's true that there is not a drive on a large societal sense to encourage spirituality as a main focus. You know what I mean? You don't make money from being spiritual. You don't, it doesn't help you to survive in a physical sense to be spiritual. And if you're not living in a physical sense, then who cares about your spirituality? And I don't feel that way, but I'm saying a lot of people do feel that way. When you're starving, you might feel that way, So
that does support what Abdullah Eng is saying, always confined to the material life. I mean, I don't think that the spiritual aspect is ignored as a generality, but I do think that kind of what Alex is saying, capitalism is only interested in spirituality as far as it can sell it. Yes, Kodu Roku.
And I think, Jess, I'm going to send you a picture really quick of Maslow's hierarchy.
Okay.
Maslow's hierarchy, which is, who mentioned that? It was, Paleo Gaming. I think this is a really good point. So Maslow, I have to look up who Maslow was. Well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a motivational theory in psychology that's basically, it's like a 5-tier model of human needs that's kind of depicted as like hierarchical levels within this pyramid. So basically the things that are at the bottom of the pyramid, this person, Maslow, supposed, and a lot of people agree, were the things that the needs that you have to have met first. Then the next rung on the pyramid is the needs that you can have met after you've had those bottom needs met. You following me, Jess?
Yes, definitely. I've heard of this for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure I'm explaining it in an understandable way.
Yes.
So you can only move up to the next tier of needs once you've had your basic needs met, right? And I believe spiritual needs are a little bit higher up on the pyramid than, for example, having food, having water, warmth, shelter, clothes on your back, things like that. So I feel like that's part of it too.
George just sent me a new hierarchy of needs that was actually different from this, and I think it put your mental before your physical. I'm probably saying that wrong. I don't know. It was different in some way. I wish I could remember what it was. I'm trying to Google it right now.
I'd be interested to see it. Yeah, because I mean, to me, it makes sense that if you're literally starving or freezing to death, you're not really worried about where your spirit is at that moment.
Yeah,
because your body's kind of like a machine that requires certain things to be able to function,
I'm gonna look.
But that's not to say that, all of the things in the pyramid are important to living a life that feels whole and fulfilled and where you feel healthy and you're able to help others. It's definitely not to say that you can only live with one of these things and you should like get rid of the rest. It's to say that, I guess maybe not to feel bad if you aren't self-actualized when your safety needs aren't being met, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I can't find it. I'm not sure what it was.
Oh yeah, Paleo Gaming says there are different schools in psychology who challenge the traditional model. I'm interested in seeing that. Chili Draw says, based on that structure, we should be thankful for living in a society that allows us to worry about our psychological problems.
Yeah, that is true. We are privileged in that regard. We do have the freedom.
Also doesn't. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't look. That doesn't mean that it's not okay to ask for more. You know what I mean? I only say that because I've had some political conversations with family who are more in the right-wing camp, and it's been like I've said, we really need to fix this problem, or we should be focusing on this as a nation to be able to help people and move us forward. And the response I get some of the time is, well, look at this other country. They don't have that. You know, we should be glad that we're not them. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Just because there are problems in other countries, or that just because that situation is really, really bad, doesn't mean that what I'm talking about isn't a problem. You know, it's what I'm talking about is still a problem that we should be working toward if we really claim to be like an advanced society. You know, so
I totally agree with
it's
that.
whataboutism. You know, you hear about a lot.
Paleo Gaming says, I think there are psychologists who posit that while instinctually we feel physical needs are paramount, they agree in truth physiological needs would benefit us more.
Well, I listened to that episode. It might have been you, Paleo Gaming, who suggested I listen to it. Of the we have concerns, which is Dan's. No, I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Jeff.
Yes, thank you, Jeff Kanata's podcast. And on that podcast, they talk about a study where they went to a village and this actually happened. They gave people $100 a month for free, and then they gave other people free therapy for a certain amount of time, the same amount of time that they gave the people the money. And they measured happiness at the end, and the people with the money were happier. But then, you know, there's also things that, yeah, that's what the study said. But there's also things that go into play there because it was a short-term study. And also, I think something that was really important that they said was like, sometimes when you go to therapy, you don't resolve your issues right away. It can bring up more things and make you feel really uncomfortable and probably unhappy. But in the long run, it's good that you're dealing with the things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I like what Akotoroku said here. It's more enmeshed than a simple pyramid. Physical, mental, emotional health, they all play off of one another. So perhaps it should be sort of a wheel. And I think that makes sense because... Hi, Pebbles. Hi. You want to say hi? Okay, bye. Ollie, you want to say hi?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It isn't as linear as like, once I have this, I can worry about this. They all affect each other.
If you're stuck on a tropical island, that's kind of how I think about this, to like bring it down to more of like primal terms. Yeah, it's true. You do need shelter and food and water before you can think about anything else. But at the same time, it's like if you are depressed and lonely and you don't think that you'll survive and you have no hope of survival, then you're not even going to attempt to do the things that you need to do. So
yeah, and like for example, if you aren't getting enough sleep, I'm a huge sleep advocate, number one. But if you're not getting enough sleep, that's bad for your mental health. So you know, those things are totally entwined. Like you have to get your sleep in order for you to have good mental health. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yesterday I accidentally got 4 hours of sleep and I was it was a mess the whole day. I was subpar performance across the board and I had to do so much. It was sleep is so
that
important.
sounds so stressful. Yeah. And Abdullah came back and said, in the West, material life is kind of perfect for the majority, but people still struggle mentally. In poor countries, people struggle materially, but not mentally. You know, I don't know if I necessarily believe that, to be honest. That because I grew up in a place where there were poor people around that I knew personally. I went to school with people who were struggling, and I think the mindset is different, you know, and that, how do I want to say this? I do think that there are still mental issues and familial societal issues that are passed down through generations who don't know any better, if that makes sense. Like abuse begets abuse, and you know, if you don't have resources that to teach you a better way to handle things, then why would you learn any different, you know? Now, my dad came from a family who had very little, and they are very loving to each other. They do, and you know, very grateful for everything that they have. But that's not to say that they have no problems. You know what I mean? It's, I don't know, perspective. I do think that as people, there is a certain point where like you can start wanting, when you have all of your needs met, you can start wanting more and more and more and more. And then that becomes like an endless pit of just desire, and you're never happy because you're always looking for the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I wouldn't say that all poor people are mentally good or, you know, happy.
Yeah,
and that all,
for sure.
You know,
I saw a marked difference in my happiness when I started making more money. I was definitely happier because I wasn't worried, and I could actually buy things that weren't just necessary. I could buy things that I liked, and I could do more self-care. I could afford self-care.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, there's a threshold where, you know, if I know that I can pay my bills that month, if my, you know, and that, for me, that's kind of basic needs stuff, you know what I mean?
Buy paleo
It's
gaming.
like, bye! If I can buy my groceries, if I can pay my rent, pay my utilities, and I know that I've got all that covered, then my stress levels are lower. But if I don't know how I'm going to make that work that month, definitely my mental state is not as secure. You know,
I think having a partner makes a difference too. When I had a live-in partner who was sharing my bills, I could relax a little bit more because I knew somebody had my back.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, yeah, that's 100% true for me and Andy, and also, you know, luckily I've got a little bit of savings, so you know, I'm not in a dire situation, but I have a number in my bank account that I'm like, all right, if I have this number in here, I'm smooth sailing, I'm okay, you know. But if it gets below that number, that's when I start to go, how am I gonna work this out? Can I get another job? Can I you know?
That's also on freelance lifestyle though.
Yeah, totally.
All we have to do is get an office job, and we'll have a steady paycheck.
Yeah, but what would that do to my mental health, Jess?
Yeah, if you're not built for it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not saying that office jobs are not, obviously they're good for most people in the world, and I'd probably be fine. I've worked off office jobs before actually, but yeah, I've just been away from it too long. You know, I would have to find some kind of situation that's just so perfect, you know.
When I first started working in the office job that I had, I remember every lunch break I just conked out sleeping because I was like, you know, so I was not used to the attention that you have to pay for extended periods of time like that, like, you know, for 5 hours until your lunch break, and then you got to go back to work for another, you know, 3 to 4 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
That I was so tiring, but eventually I got used to it.
Yeah, in China, you know, they take a nap before lunch. Yeah.
Oh, is it part of the lunch break?
Everybody in the office takes a nap. Yep.
Wow.
Yep, you get like
8-hour days?
Usually 9-hour days. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have that hour for lunch and nap time.
Oh wow, interesting comment from Chili Draws. Office jobs feed off your soul. I thought you said feed your soul, but make you wither on the vine. But you were saying feed off your soul and make you wither on the vine. People rarely flourish in offices, just my opinion. Well, that is an interesting comment because I think you're right in that in certain office jobs there's kind of like a limited what is the word for like progressing up the ladder?
Oh yeah.
Ability to
upward mobility.
Yeah. But it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
Because for some people, like,
it's all about perspective.
That's what you want. Like, you want to become a CEO. or you want to become, a manager or whatever, and have that security, have the nice vacation time to take your family out and not have to worry about it.
The nice healthcare package.
Yeah, maternity leave. Like, these are all really important things to, I think, most people. And especially because here in the USA, our health insurance is tied to our job. Having good health insurance when you're starting a family, or if you have health issues, is really big. So the flourishing could be like the flourishing of your family, the flourishing of your own health, the flourishing of the outside activities outside of work. But if we are distilling it down to flourishing in your career path, then I could probably agree with that comment. I think flourishing to me means doing new things and enjoying those things truly. And for me personally, to flourish at my job would be a true melding of genuinely enjoying what I'm doing and work, which is why I'm working in the entertainment industry, because I want that.
Yeah, I was going to say our healthcare is not tied to our jobs. You and I.
Yeah, in theory it would be if we had a job that.
Yeah, but and I think that is what. I think that's part of the whole plan, the whole system is, people will stay in their jobs that maybe they don't really love or they don't even like because they don't want to lose their health care. And that's a big reason why we won't move to, what I'm trying to say, free healthcare. But anyway.
Yeah, I really wish we were more like Canada, because my friends who are Canadian who are like, yeah, I just feel so free to change jobs, try something new, because I know that if I, get in a car accident, I won't have to go bankrupt.
That must be nice. I will say that there is a program in California for anybody who's in California. If you get pregnant.
Oh, not that one.
Not that one.
I thought you were going to say Covered California.
No, but I mean, it is part of that, and I found out about this through Covered California. There's a program in California where if you are pregnant and low income or middle income, you can apply for Medi-Cal, which is the state-funded healthcare. And then that saves you. I mean, I'm applying to it right now, honestly, because I I qualify for it based on my income, and so I'm waiting now for it to go through. But it's gonna save us like the cost of a car, basically, to have this kid.
When Alex told me it was gonna cost her money to have a baby, I was in shock. I didn't know that.
Unconscionable. Honestly, it's the most natural thing in the world,
and it costs thousands of dollars,
tens of thousands of dollars, depending. If I
what the fuck?
So, I mean, and my deductible right now on my current insurance, which I pay for through Covered California, is insanely high. I mean, it's the cost of a used car.
Yeah.
An old used car,
nice,
but yeah. And so when I found out I could go to Medi-Cal, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm going to have so much more money just to build our lives off of.
Yeah, take care of the kid.
Anyway, I wanted to go back really quick.
Can we clip that last minute and send it to Congress?
Right.
Yep.
Akoda Roku says, I will say faith and spirituality does seem to flourish among impoverished and oppressed groups. And I'm sure that there are people who can speak about that better than I can. When I was talking about my dad's family who grew up with not very much, very, very religious Christian people. I mean, and I can't speak for other religions, but I used to be Christian, so I feel like I can speak for this. It teaches you that it's bad to want money.
Yeah. And you give away your money to the church.
You give away, or theoretically, yeah. You give away your money to the church, but what does the church do with that money? Don't worry about it. So yeah, they that is true. I mean, I think that spirituality, religion in particular, because I do think that they're different things.
Yeah,
Religion
for sure.
helps people to feel like their needs. Thank you so much, honey. I love you. Euro. You made
Wow, yummy. Can I have one? Andy, come back.
me a euro. Just wants one.
Come over. It's only like a half an hour to 40
No big
minutes out of your
deal.
day.
But yeah, so Christianity teaches theoretically that you should not worry about your physical life, be like the lilies of the field, and don't worry about anything because God's got you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I
And
could
God
see
has a
how that
plan.
is, and God has a plan. Yeah, that it's all working out in your favor because God keeps you in His favor. And I mean that makes sense that people who are in impoverished states or places or situations where they don't have all their needs met, that would be a really great mindset to kind of put you at ease, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
So-
thinking about the inverse, which is that the wealthier you are, the less religious you get. And I mean, I don't know. I think this is all just us, postulating. We don't really know if this is true or
Mhm.
not because we don't have any facts in front of us. But I could guess that would be true. I could guess that your comment might have some truth to it. Because I think the more money you have, the more money becomes your god. And that reminds me, another thing that George said is, where is it? Something about like what you worship becomes your god. Here it is. Here it is. Let me find it. Okay. So it was the "This Is Water" by David Foster Wallace commencement speech. Which if you haven't heard, I think we talked about this before. If you haven't heard, it's brilliant. Please go watch it. He talks about what we choose to worship becomes something that we feel we never have enough of. So if you worship money, you'll feel like you'll never have enough. If you worship power, you'll feel like you never have enough. And it challenged me to think about what I worship. I guess I do worship money, and I do worship success in terms
What does
of, like,
worship
acting.
mean exactly in this situation?
I think it means something that you desire and you give power to.
Desire and give power to.
I mean, that's my own definition from what I took away
Desire
from
and
it.
give power to.
Do we worship attention? I don't know if I, in particular, worship attention. I guess I do a little bit, yeah. I think maybe I'm comparing myself to others, but I think, yeah, we all probably do worship attention. I mean, there's social
I don't
media.
know, worship. I'll be honest, I'm a little triggered by worship.
Okay.
as a word in general. Just because I mean, like, it's not our fault that we have to have money to survive. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when my brother was in his early 20s, late teens, he was like, I really don't care about money. I don't care about money at all. And I was like, that's great, dude. Talk to me in 5 years. Like, when you live by yourself and you are, paying all your bills, like, it's easy to, I also don't really love or hate money, but I know that I need it, I can't escape it.
Yeah. Good.
So I don't know if I worship it, but it is an important thing in my life, Well,
I think
of no fault of my own, it just is.
Worshiping it, I think, would mean that you prioritize making money for happiness, and I don't do that. Otherwise, I would not be an actor. I would be something that's going to net me money, more certainly. I think when you choose to be an actor, you just accept the inevitable that you're going to be poor until you hit it.
Yeah. Or that you'll have to work it out. Maybe not poor, but yeah.
Yeah.
To work it out.
Going
You
into
won't have stability.
Yeah. Comes and goes. But what made me think maybe I worship money is because I will say that money is one of my top stressors. Like the only thing I think right now that really induces anxiety in me, luckily, because I'm very privileged at this moment in time, is money. And so I think I do worship it on that level because I allow it to stress me out.
Abdullah Eng says worship equals to obey someone who has control of the afterlife.
Well, that is one definition of worship, but we are talking more in terms of in the context of that David Foster Wallace. Let me see if I can find the clip, because then I can just
you can put it in the
play
chat.
it. Yeah.
Or yeah. There might be music on it, and it'll be, I don't know.
I
Careful.
don't think so. I think I could find one where it's just the speech.
Also, I just have to say, Spinetti is a total sweetie as usual. Just throwing out the compliments and the kindness, and I do think that kindness. I'm with you, Spinetti. I think you can never have enough kindness, and that is something we should prioritize more and more every single day.
I don't know, Alex, how would I be able to share this sound with you? Maybe I can find a transcription instead.
Okay. Chili Draws, I also agree that you reap what you sow across the board. Money, faith, career. Money, faith, career, kindness, art. What you put your time into is what will grow for you. I really do think that.
Okay, I have it. Ready?
Okay, ready.
I'm gonna read.
You're gonna read it?
I'm gonna read a paragraph or two.
All right, I'm gonna eat my Euro while you talk.
Yes, perfect. If you don't want us to hear you chewing, go ahead and mute. But if you do want us to hear you chewing, don't hit that mute button. Okay. This, I submit, is the freedom of a real education, of learning how to be well adjusted. You get to consciously decide what has meaning and what doesn't. You get to decide what to worship. And this, to give you context, is he's speaking to the merits of these graduate students that he's speaking to. Like, what is the point of getting this, like, real advanced education? You get to decide what to worship. Because here's something else that's weird but true. In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. And the compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship, be it JC or Allah, be it YHWH or the Wiccan Mother Goddess or the Four Noble Truths or some invaluable set of ethic principles, is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough, never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally grieve you. On one level, we all know this stuff already. It's been codified in myths, proverbs, cliches, epigrams, parables, the skeleton of every great story. The whole trick is keeping the truth up front in daily consciousness. Worship power, you will end up feeling weak and afraid, and you will need even more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, you will end up feeling stupid, a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. But the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they're evil or sinful, it's that they're unconscious. They are default settings. They're the kind of worship you just gradually slip into day after day, getting more and more selective about what you see and how you measure value without ever being fully aware that that's what you're doing. And so the so-called real world will not discourage you from operating on your default settings, because the so-called real world of men and money and power hums merrily along in a pool of fear and anger and frustration and craving and worship of self. I'm trying to see what else I should read here. So then he goes on to say, the really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline. Being educated is understanding how to think and being able to make a choice and to not have to necessarily give in to that default that he has just described. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. I want to focus on, I guess, for me, when I hear that, I'm like, all right, so what do I need to focus on? You know, like what is it that I need to actually do as opposed to what I need to not do, you know? Um, but yeah, it sounds like to him the pinnacle is being aware, being present, realizing that you have choice in life, the ability to be able to break free, I guess is what it kind of sounds like too.
Well, yeah, I think it's just having an awareness of having a choice to be able to say, I don't need to worship my appearance because society has told me that that's important. I don't need to worship being the smartest person in the room because I have a graduate degree, and that was how my worth was measured for all of my life until I graduated from, you know, medical school or whatever it is.
Yeah. And by the way, that's Jess, you don't have those credentials, right? Or have you been fooling me this whole time? You have a graduate degree? You went to medical school?
I am an anesthesiologist. Yes.
Oh
not
my
practicing.
God. Don't you have like some appointments to go to right now? Or should you
No, I've got like 8 weeks paid vacation that I've been
nice.
kind of doing half time on.
Dr.
whole year.
Goodberry. Exactly, Dr. Goodberry. Yeah.
Abdullah Lang says maybe I disagree with his use of worship here, but he has a clear point. I mean, that kind of reminds me of The Artist's Way, where she's like, we're gonna use the term God here and like talking to God, but you don't have to, if that's triggering to you. She doesn't really use the word trigger, but if it's triggering to you, if you don't like that word, we're not talking about God like of any religion. We're talking about this. It's just the best word we can use, the most universal term we can use to describe this idea, and I think that's what he's doing. Like, there's not really he decided that there wasn't a better word for that, or at least he defined it.
What he's talking about is not afterlife based. It's based in living this life that we know about to the fullest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, given what I just read, what do you think that you worship? In chat, I want to know what you feel that you worship.
I don't know. I mean, my initial response is that's a very vulnerable question to ask, you know, because
you don't have to answer it on stream. I mean,
not that I'm opposed to answering it, but I'm just saying, like, when I was hearing you say all the examples of things to worship, I was like, oh, would I want to admit that? You know, like.
So the worship that we're talking about here, according to him, David Foster Wallace, who did actually commit suicide, which makes this all a bit more strange to listen to. Not too long after this speech, I think. It is where you tap your real meaning in life. I guess money is not where I tap my real meaning in life. Otherwise, I would be really pursuing something else, I think. I put my power in what if I'm trying to be an actor, like artistic value. Yeah. I mean, it depends. There's different ways of pursuing acting, you know. Yeah.
Well, like I know several people who would say it's about power. You know, it's about connections,
fame.
It's about fame.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But I also agree. Like, you know, these days I kind of, yes, I call myself an actor, but I kind of feel more like the term artist is more appropriate, even though that doesn't really mean a lot to probably most people. But like, art is more important to me than having a series regular, if that makes sense. Those having a series regular would be great. I'm not knocking it. So yeah, to answer your question, I think you said it's where you feel like you tap the most meaning out of life. Well, yeah. I feel like that's a different answer than what I spend my days actively working toward, if that makes sense. Like work has been very, very busy for me this last week. And I've also not been able to do a lot of things that I would like to do because I'm without a car right now. So I'm trying, I guess my day-to-day has been kind of like trying to get my work done so that I can have money and, afford my life. And in the off time, just trying to take care of my general well-being, and I don't know. It's so while I feel like what I tap the most meaning from life is I tap the most meaning from life from connection, I think. Be that, and that can be love, that can be friendship, that can be connection with myself. It can be connection to the nature. That I think I tap the most meaning from life from like presence, and I think connection and presence are similar things, like
Yeah.
when I feel the most alive when I am aware of my body, when I'm aware of the world around me, when I'm really, really focused in on just being alive and appreciating the experience of that,
I love that, Alex. I love that about
Aw.
you. And I'll
Aw.
say I think you are one of the, I don't want to, this is going to sound
Bye,
so
Sanity.
simple. Bye. And bye, Abdulang.
And bye, Abdulang.
It's going to sound so simple,
Thanks for asking your question.
but you are one of the happiest people I know.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's important
Wow.
because I think we've talked about this before many times, but it's getting harder and harder to meet people who identify as happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
while we're not
is.
happy every day, and you're certainly not happy every day,
Oh no, I struggle with things as much as anyone else.
yeah, but I think that you do really consciously make an effort to be grateful for your life and for the good things in your life. You don't dwell in the negativity and in the things that are bad, and I think that is really important. So I think asking you what you worship is really interesting, just like your particular perspective, because it's not quite so clear, is it? You're not seeking fame, you're not seeking money, you're not seeking
Yeah.
a romantic partner at this moment, like
Yeah. And sometimes I will say, first of all, thank you so much for saying that. That's like such a meaningful thing to say to me. It means so much to me. It makes me feel
I
like
hope it's true. That's what I'm
maybe
perceiving.
living. Well, yeah, I want it to be true. So, I will continue to live my life moment to moment and maybe be more aware. Because, this last week it's been really stressful for me. And I want to be more aware of what I just said to you and live it more. And then also to be the person that you see me as. So, so thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome.
But I was gonna say you said I'm not pursuing power, fame, money. Yeah, that's true. And sometimes, I've had conversations with people who, especially people who are really into like law of attraction stuff. I've heard before that, my wishes or my asks or my goals are not specific enough, that sometimes I wonder, like, if I wrote down on a piece of paper, like, I want to have my own sitcom or, I want to make $5 million in the next year or something like that, would that, and I really, really put my focus into that, like, would that come true for me if I like focused on that? But then when I think about doing that, what comes to my mind is like, but am I just limiting myself as to like the things that could happen, like,
Yeah.
because
You're so focused on this track that you've set out for yourself, but
yeah,
what about all the things that you're missing? And also, does that make you less happy because you're putting so much worth into this one particular thing? Because I have also heard the opposite thing, which is I think it was Amy Vorpahl said to me at one time, at a certain point, she was like, I needed to accept that whatever is going to happen in my career, and to stop trying to force one particular thing to happen because it's not linear. And I'm missing opportunity. I don't think she said all of this, but I'm kind of inferring more meaning out of what she said in putting my own is that you may miss other opportunities because you're like, no, thank you. I am actually pursuing this thing. I want to be a real serious actor. So no to a Twitch stream. No to a hosting job, to voiceover. I want to be a serious Game of Thrones dramatic actor. And you know what? Maybe you maybe you host a Twitch channel like us, and then somebody sees that. You become an actor on a Dungeons and Dragons show. Somebody sees that, puts you in a scripted show.
Absolutely. You never know. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I totally agree with that. And that's kind of always been my perspective as well, is like when I journal about the things that I want, the things that I always come back to are like love, fun, adventure,
fun,
totally, connection, these things that are kind of like, to me, very basic building blocks of happiness. And to some people, they probably feel pretty general, but I think it's because of that, because I'm like, well, like for example, going to China, I didn't know that would set me up to have a job that I could work from home, during a pandemic. Like, that was really, really lucky that I happened to, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have gone to China because it was a wrench in my acting pursuit. I had to put everything on hold in LA in order to go and do that for 3 months, which, 3 months is not that long, but in the acting world, it can be. Yeah, and you never know when it'll strike in the acting world, so you always have to be ready,
So stressful.
It's so stressful. Yeah, really, the acting career is really, really stressful, and that thing about like, trying to zoom in and be focused. There's so much, I think, worship of like the hustle and the focus and like having your dreams be very concrete, all that really stresses me out, because like you said, like, what if there's something that I couldn't even imagine that's even better than that thing that I have in my mind?
Yeah.
Like, so my method has always been to kind of like go in general toward that thing and do the things that I need to do, but also when other things come around, how does that feel to me? Does that bring me more fun? Does that bring me more love? Does it bring me more laughter? Does it make, how's my connection? All that. Does it bring art? Does it, do I feel fulfilled by it? And I go towards those things as opposed to toward the money or toward the power or toward the whatever, And
I think a huge part of that adjustment in mindset is consciously saying to yourself, these other things are equally as fulfilling as whatever this other lofty goal is that I am generally striving towards. Like, to put it in terms of my own, hi buddy, is, okay, I'm striving towards being a full-time actor, and that's something that I am generally moving towards, and everything in my life is kind of revolving around that. But I need to sometimes, every day, I need to reaffirm to myself that the other things in my life are just as valid and are just as beautiful and are just as fulfilling. Like going on adventures, going on camping trips, like hanging out with my friends, like going out to eat,
life,
traveling. Like, that is my life. My life does not begin when I achieve this great goal. And actually,
absolutely,
for the first 25 years of my life, well, yes, even when I was an infant, the beginning of my adult life was, I really did have that mindset of my life only begins when I do this, when I achieve this goal, and everything else is just prep. But I think in the last couple of years, maybe it's just, getting closer to your 30s or just
recognizing your own mortality, maybe even.
Yeah, just going, look, I'm not getting any more time here. So every day needs to count, and every day I need to be grateful for. And it's all just my life. It's a storied life. And looking back on it, these are chapters that are important.
Yeah, absolutely. The stories are so important, my thing, I'm like, I hope I can just remember all the stories. Every now and then something will come up and I'll be like, I totally forgot about that. A story comes to mind right now. But I don't know if I should go into it or just I want to talk about what Chili Draw said. Do you think hustling within the set of traditional parameters is better than forging your own path? Like, which is better, Tr- within the set of traditional parameters or forging your own path? And personally, my opinion is that you kind of have to do both. At least when I think about acting, the acting world, when I entered it, was a total 180 from the acting world that I'm in now. Like, it used to be that you would get headshots and they were black and white. I mean, this is before my time, actually, but
I was gonna say black
no,
and
this
white.
is before me, but I'm saying that that
Not too far ahead of
acting
your time.
and
though.
all industries. Hey now.
No, I mean for real. I think it was like it really was.
It really wasn't that long.
Yeah.
It was like the 90s. Probably
or
even
probably even later.
2000s.
Yeah, I think because when I was
Yeah.
in college, I remember seeing black and white headshots.
Yeah. I had a black and white headshot at one time, but I don't know if that was just because the people around me didn't know that was old school or what. But anyway, so yeah, it used to be that you'd get a black and white headshot, and then you'd take that headshot around door to door. You would go into these casting places or these agencies and hand them your headshot and ask for a meeting. Now, if you did that, you'd be laughed out of
Yeah.
the room. Are you kidding me? There's coronavirus. Get away from me.
And actually, it's so 180 that I would even believe it if somebody said that just pure novelty alone doing that would get somebody in by like, what are you doing?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe, but
More likely
there's also
what you
the risk
said.
that you end up being just total cringe because you think you're, being novel, and they.
Yeah.
So it's rough, but I mean, even mailing things is dicey.
Yeah, they don't want
these
it.
days.
They don't want it. They're like,
they
email
get
me.
So many. Yeah, email me, exactly, and then they probably don't even read your email half the time. But yeah, so what I'm saying is that like, what Jess said about the novelty of walking in, maybe that's part of the forging your own path. You're not doing the traditional parameter, what's now considered the traditional parameters, because you're trying to stand out. Yeah, I feel like, at least in our industry, we're constantly having to go back and forth between following the rules of the traditional parameters and doing something that makes you stand out.
Yeah,
You
totally
know?
agree. But I mean, that is very particular to acting or like an entertainment industry career
Mhm.
path. Let me try to put this into
I'm pretty sure it'll apply to other industries though.
hustling
know?
within the career path. Because
Like having resumes and going on job interviews.
I guess like like my other career path that I'm in, web design, traditional set of parameters versus forging your own path. I think for the most part, traditional parameters would get me the farthest, but what would make me elevate beyond the norm would be forging my own path, would be like starting my own business or coming up with a new technique, That I think does transcend
Totally.
to a lot of different
Mhm.
job paths. I want to go back up and chat to some earlier comments that we missed here. Let's see. Abdulang says, "I worship education." In that sense, that feels good to me.
Yeah,
Worship
I mean,
education.
I will say, based on what you were reading, the examples that David Foster Wallace gave, two that resonated with me were beauty and intelligence. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with my experience becoming an adult, or like growing up, is that I was always told from being a very, very young girl that I was very pretty. And it feels weird to say that about yourself. But
Well,
and then
being pretty as a girl, that's true. That is one of the things that we're told to value the most.
yeah, absolutely. And as a teenager, it's like, oh, get out the shotgun, to my dad and stuff, and like, I'm gonna have to beat those boys away with a stick, and then so like growing up now that I'm starting to age, I'm in my 30s, I'm pregnant. That my beauty is not something that I'm going to be able to hold on to forever. And that's been apparent to me, or I mean, it's been in the back of my mind for a very long time, since I was a teenager. Even I remember being like, oh my God, this is not going to last. Like, how long are people going to actually want to be around me if I'm not beautiful?
Oh, wow.
And that's a really shitty thing to think. So of course,
I have some comments on this when you're done.
Okay, good. I tried to, not solely for this reason, but it was a smart choice for me to pad myself with things like developing a good personality and having a sense of humor and being smart. That's another thing, is like intelligence. I was always told I was a smart kid. I was in advanced classes and stuff, not math classes, but other ones. So,
Thanks for clarifying.
I of course, I definitely have struggled with, and I think I'm a lot better with it now, but there's been times when like I've been proven wrong, or something that I said was incorrect or whatever, or I've been called out for being wrong about something, and that, really I balk at that, I'm like, it's really hard. but nowadays I'm more into being like, well, nope, you're right, I don't know,
Same.
I don't
Actually,
know
I relate to that too.
That. Yeah.
I used to be very like prideful of my intelligence, and I would that was one of my main well, and this is because, in contrast, I was not told I was pretty, and
really,
in fact I was told I was ugly, and I was bullied.
What?
I was bullied big time growing up.
At school?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, like
You're so beautiful.
To the level of like people putting firecrackers in my mailbox, roadkill on my front porch, like really mean shit. Like really truly bullied.
Do you really think that they thought you were ugly, or do you think that they actually saw that you were naturally very beautiful and decided to torture you because they were jealous, or because they whatever?
I don't know. I think what happened was, part of it was I wasn't very cute in middle school, and
I totally doubt that. I really do.
I'll show you a picture.
You're gonna have to show. Okay, let's share middle school pictures.
I will show you a picture.
It's gonna be hard for me to find a middle school picture.
I took them all off Facebook, and they're all in my computer, so I'll be able to pull one up. I have a folder called The Old and the Ugly.
Oh no!
That I will go
you should
into.
Be nice to young you.
Oh well, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I know.
Childhood.
Yeah, we all have thoughts like that.
The Old and Ugly. Okay, let's see. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus.
Oh
okay.
Let's see.
What do I want to show?
Oh wait, I think I took some recently actually, because I was just at home. Oh my God, I have there's one picture that comes to mind that I'm like, ugh.
Okay, when I get to high school, I got cuter
fucking
though.
Awkward in middle school. Let's just be real. Like, everybody's awkward in middle school. There's no shame in that.
I'm trying to find a good set. Oh, okay. Here's one. I wish I could click and drag into OBS. Let's see. Maybe I can just screen share. I'll do that.
Having to go into the cloud.
Going into the cloud.
I'm going into the cloud.
Okay. Pulling it up. Making it full screen here.
Tell me when it's up, because I'm not looking yet.
Okay.
Oh, I had a dream last night that the Backstreet Boys sang to me. We sang something together. That's totally unrelated, but I'm going through old pictures, and I found a Backstreet Boys picture, so.
Okay, it's up.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have to screen share a different one. Hold on, let me.
Oh, okay, I'll wait.
That's a couple. Ollie, it's not time for dinner yet. Here it is. Yep.
Oh, hang on.
That's
what?
That's me in middle school.
Oh my God, you're not ugly.
Let me find another one.
You're not ugly at all. You're just awkward, and I can totally relate, because I was so fucking awkward too.
Here's another one.
Okay, I'm gonna keep looking.
There's
while
me
you're-
and my friends.
Where? Hang on.
Yeah, we're just awkward.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. That looks like you look like me.
I look like you?
Yeah, when I had short hair, I thought that was me for a second.
It's like, it's the glasses and the short hair, and look, all I'm trying to
So
say
so
is
call her ugly again, bitch.
I wasn't I wasn't
You
like
look like me.
Wait, I gotta find one more. There's one in particular that I often show people. Oh my god, where is it? It's like just the worst. Actually,
Find mine. I think.
I feel like I did get pretty cute though in high school. But this is not high school.
To look at pictures here.
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Here it is.
Okay, hang on. Let's
Changing
see.
the.
You're actually.
There it is.
Wait, it's not. Okay. Okay, you just look like a kid. You're not
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah, totally. But in the eyes of
You're so cute, actually.
in the eyes of other middle school kids, I was
Oh,
a
yeah.
fucking freak. And so
Yeah.
anyway, the whole point of this was
I mean, let's be
that-
real. Those glasses weren't a great
no.
selection.
And I did at one point have a haircut that was short, and then my mom would taught me how to use a roller
Curly guy. Yeah.
and make it into little wings like this.
Oh.
So bad.
It's
That's
so funny how our moms teach us like the ways that they did their
I
hair.
know. I wish I could find that. That photo is somewhere, and it's horrific. But my point was,
Oh my gosh.
so I think that people just remembered that and like wouldn't acknowledge that I got prettier in high school, and so yeah, I got bullied, and so anyway,
It's so stupid. I hate people.
this is all in response
Except
to
for you, good berries.
Yeah, except for you. You're the only people we don't hate. All in response to I didn't worship my prettiness as a girl because I always felt less than, and I didn't even really make any real attempts to be like pretty or popular until like halfway through high school, I would say. And then even when I got to college, I was called Hot Jessica, and that was like I was like dumbfounded.
Poor other Jessica. What the fuck? That sucks.
I don't know who the other Jessica was.
Well, apparently no one did because she wasn't hot enough.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, what? People think I'm what? And then I kind of like found that, but it took so long.
Yeah. So were you saying that you do feel like you have that kind of worship as well of being considered beautiful, or is it not as strong for you? Would you feel like?
Back then?
Yeah. Or no, I mean now. I mean, do you have that? Because like I was saying, I have that fear of the other Jessica was racist Jessica. We can only hope. I mean, I don't hope, but also, anyway, I don't know if I should feel bad for her or hate her. Anyway, so yeah, and I guess I'm just saying, like, do you have that fear of, when my beauty fades, will people see worth in me, you know?
I can honestly say no, I don't have that fear. I don't think I've considered that, but I do put worth in my looks. I do notice a big difference when I put makeup on and I do my hair and I wear a dress. The way I get treated is drastically different.
Totally different.
Drastically
right?
different from when I just am in my ratty clothes and not wearing makeup. Like,
Yeah.
it's night and day. I get so much more privilege when I'm
Yeah.
pretty, quote unquote pretty.
I
So,
definitely see that too.
I do
especially
try.
for men.
And also, yeah, definitely, especially for men, and also in the entertainment industry, how you look is hugely important. And you don't necessarily have to be pretty, I guess, but like as a woman, you kind of do. There's a lot more roles for quirky, goofy dudes, like funny husbands, like the chubby guy,
Or at
whatever.
at least being young, too. You know, I mean, there's a lot of value put on being young. Like my agent, I remember I was 27 or something, and she was like, "No, say you're 24." I'm like,
Oh, what?
Okay.
Wow.
It always felt really dumb to me. I was like, I'm in my 20s. Who gives a fuck, you know? Like, but
I'm
apparently
surprised.
someone does.
I'm to this day, I'm surprised that my agents have not told me to get a nose job. No one's ever told me to get any work done, because I thought that would be a thing.
Wow.
Moving to LA, that I would get told to make my nose smaller and more like, you know, ideal.
I'm glad no one did, because your nose is part of what makes you unique, you know?
Thank you. I need to. That is the one thing I do latch onto in terms of my own looks.
Okay, I'm taking some screenshots now. I'm gonna send, because I finally found pictures of young me and my beautiful awkwardness. I had to scroll. Oh my god. I don't think I'm ugly, but it's like a.
Is that the same kind of ugly that I was?
Flashback. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I didn't have glasses, even though I needed them. I started wearing contacts when I found out that my eyesight was bad.
Oh.
Ollie, sorry,
stop.
just
Stop.
a few more here.
I got him a basket for his little toys, and he's digging in it like it's a hole. That's not.
Aww.
It's not a hole. He's inside the basket. It's so cute. I wish I could show you. You're very cute. You're very cute.
I want to go ahead and send these to you, but I'll lose my place, because I just posted them on a chat, so they're not like in my phone. I mean, they probably are somewhere.
Yeah, do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
Do you need a couple? I can acknowledge some more, slightly different topic here.
I think I'm good. Here, I'll go ahead and send it to you now. They are. My hair was really frizzy at a certain point. Here you go.
Are you sending this to me on Signal?
Yes, I am.
Got him.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, you're like you're straight up Hermione in this.
I know. My hair was so frizzy. Yeah. Sorry, I was really focused on finding those pictures for a long time.
No, it was really not that long. You're all good. Okay, here we
right,
go. Here she is. What a cutie!
Wait, let me see it.
Is that a dog? A dog in a beanie?
A dog in a beanie on my t-shirt. Yeah. I think I was probably like 11 at that point. And yeah, oh my god, my hair is so frizzy.
And then we got.
But I got teased too. You know, this is me really trying to be fly.
You're like biker chic in this one.
No.
The bandana.
No, listen, you missed the bandana phase. Everyone was wearing bandanas.
I did miss the
in
bandana
early
phase.
2000. This was not a biker thing.
And you got this armband here.
Christina Aguilera. I was going Christina Aguilera. Okay. Genie in a bottle.
Yeah, this is definitely a look.
Thank you. Paleo Gaming knows I was fly. See? It's a look. Yeah, this is like me trying to be the flyest for picture day. Okay.
I want more. I want to see more.
I wish I could find more.
Maybe next time we do it just chatting, we can look at old photos and be a little more prepared for it.
Yeah, I'll ask my parents to send some. I do have actually a lot of old cuter baby photos of me. Do you want to see that?
Baby photos?
Or not baby, but like when I was a cuter like little kid.
Yeah, I'll look at little kid photos. Baby photos, I'm like, well, you probably just look like a baby.
Yeah, no.
Hi, Dimitri DC. Dimitri is my favorite animated love interest.
Dimitri wasn't the bat? No, Dimitri is the
hottie.
Yeah,
Bartok.
we were just talking about that.
And I kick her, sir.
And then I kick her, sir.
Yes, from Anastasia, really. So I'm just assuming that you have this suave confidence that Dimitri has. Oh, look at her! Oh, look at her!
Oh,
Look at that
are
little
the
cutie.
cutie days.
You look
cutie
like
days.
a movie child. Like, what is this outfit?
Like a Matilda kind
Yeah.
of situation. Yeah. Serving Matilda vibes for sure. Um.
So cute.
Yeah, good times. I want to see a baby picture of you, or like a little kid picture of you.
Oh, yeah, let me pull one up from the archive.
Yes.
Deeply buried. Okay, we have a folder called Childhood, and then Childhood Polaroids. Oh, this is a good one.
Ooh.
Let's see.
I'll show you baby Andy too if you want.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see baby Andy. So I'm looking through these photos. I was like cute until I hit. Yes, he's.
Puberty?
I was cute until I hit middle school, and then I got really ugly, and then I got cute again. So, you know.
Yeah, that's about the par for the course.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Here we go. Here's another one of me. These are me and my sisters.
Oh wait, let me see. What's your little smile?
Oh! Here's a bad one.
Cute.
Here's a. You can see that I'm not cute. Let me pull it up. Here it is. Look at that face.
Aww,
Look at
you're
that.
adorable.
Look, that's not adorable.
No, you are. You're just awkward. Wow. Yeah, Yeah, it must have been hard. I know. I was very awkward too, and it was hard for me.
What age were you in
hard.
that picture you just sent me? I think I can try to find one that's a little more.
I think
young.
I was probably 6 or 7 in that one. Oh, and the one I just sent you, or because I sent you one where I'm like probably 3 or 4.
The Matilda one.
Oh yeah, 6 or 7, I think. There.
6 or 7. I don't think I have a lot of photos from that particular age. I mean, the one I just pulled up is like, oh. Here's one.
Oh.
Here's one.
Wait, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Where is it? Oh no, you're so cute! Little page boy haircut. Oh my gosh, you're like.
So my sisters growing up, Rachel had red hair, Emma had blonde hair. I mean, they still do. So we always got those comments of like,
like one of each.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you sent me another one?
Yeah, I sent you a few. I sent you some of me, some of Andy. Here's one where.
Oh!
What?
This one, the one where you get the little dress, so you
Wait,
look
which
back.
one? Oh, that one is
Oh, you look back.
adorable. I'm not gonna lie, that one's so cute.
Oh my god, look at this. Look
I
at
love that picture.
Look at that.
And I think I actually have that dress. My mom still has it and wants me to put it on our baby.
Thank you for the follow,
Thank you,
Dimitri.
Dimitri. You're awesome.
All right, let me.
Oh wait, Dimitri, did you say you're Greek American? Because I'm eating Greek American right now. It's so good. Not to condense your whole culture into the food. I'm just saying I love the food.
Is this? Which one's and what is this? Is he on a TV
He's
show?
in
What
the
is
front.
happening?
No, this is from
Like a camcorder?
I took a video of a video. Yeah.
Oh,
camcorder,
okay.
So.
Looks like he's on a TV
Just-
show.
I know, right?
Aw, what a
It's him and his brother and his sister.
sweetie.
He looked so angry there, but he had a very serious face a lot of the time. He always was wearing his cowboy outfit. Look at what we call this a toe head when you're
Yes.
so blonde
Oh my
like
god,
that.
I remember that term. I haven't heard it in forever.
He's a little toe head baby. Makes me wonder if our baby's gonna be a toe head.
Oh,
Oh my
I hope
god.
they are.
Oh look at that.
Cute. You look
That-
like a little
or-
adult.
No, I'm so. I don't know. That was a rough time for me.
Let's see. Does this look like her?
I think it's just because my cheeks are a little chubby. I still have some baby weight there, you know, and I hadn't figured out how to handle bangs, so they're kind of greasy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm kind of smiling like this, like.
Yeah, your
So-
teeth look different.
Yeah, I think my teeth were
Well, your teeth
growing
look
in at
super
that point.
different. How?
Yeah.
What? How did you get different teeth? I didn't get different teeth.
I don't know. I didn't have braces until college, and they didn't. Yeah, I think it was just I might have been eating something. There's something in my mouth.
Well, it looks like your teeth are littler. Huh?
Oh yeah, they probably
Little
were.
baby teeth don't grow
Maybe.
though, do they?
I mean, they grow into place. They move around when you're in middle school and stuff.
Oh, is that the last one? Okay. Cute.
Dimitri, same age. Jess is a little bit younger than me. She just turned 30, and I'm 33.
Oh, babe. You're 33. I forget.
Mhm.
You're
How old are you,
so
Dimitri?
much more mature and wise than I.
So many years on the books. You know, to be honestly though, I was looking through pictures. I was just scrolling through my phone the other day, and I ended up on pictures of myself 3 years ago. And because sometimes I look at your pictures and I'm like,
Me?
yeah, and I'm like, oh, she's so in shape and she's so, great and blah blah blah. And then, but I was looking through my pictures 3 years ago, and that was when I was in the best shape of my life. I'm not saying that you're gonna go downhill like I have. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't gone downhill. But, I was in better shape back then. So, and also I'm having a baby, so all bets are off. It's fine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can be what I am, and I have no guilt about it. And you know what? That should be the way it is, even when you're not pregnant. How about that? That'd be great. But anyway, whatever.
I've also I think I am very lucky genetically. I do have obesity runs in my family, so I've always been hyper aware of that. But I think generally, if I set my mind to dieting and exercising to look a certain way, I don't have difficulty achieving that.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that it made me, looking back at those pictures, made me feel not as bad about where I am today, because I was like, oh well, of course Jess is where she is right now because she's at that age. That's great. Again, not to say, I mean, like you said, you're lucky genetically, so maybe you'll just continue to have luck keeping off weight and also gaining muscle and stuff. But for me, I generally eat a pretty healthy diet and all the time, and I'm pretty active. Like I'm a doer. I like to do things and get up and walk around and stuff. Get a lot of steps every day. But yeah, my fat is just stubborn in some places. It won't go away. So,
have you ever heard of I'm forgetting the term now that I've just said it, where you freeze your fat cells?
I've heard of that, yeah, biofreeze or whatever.
Because Michael says that what happens is when you build fat cells, it's like the deposit goes back in so easily. And if you freeze them and get rid of them, your body has a much, much harder time putting fat there. Like, your body will not put fat there again unless it's necessary. Whereas if you have the fat cells, your body's just like, okay, going in.
Just poop.
Yep.
But it'll just, what happens with the fat if it doesn't store it? It just poops it out, or what?
Well, I think you have to just be, you still have to be conscious. Like, you can rebuild those fat cells if you don't diet. But I think it's just much harder. Like, it's, I don't know the full science behind it, but from what I recall, like right now I carry fat in my thighs, and I think like that's, whenever I overeat a little bit, it's the first place it goes. It's so easy. But I think if I froze those fat cells, then it would be much harder for me to gain weight there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not to say you should freeze anything, but just saying, like, I wonder if it's, once you build those fat cells, if it's not your fault, it's like, that's just your body. Your body's like, cool.
Well, they do say that your body, that your body, we were just talking about this on my group chat the other day, that your body wants to stay around whatever weight you've always been. Like, the weight that you've been the longest, your body wants to go back to that.
Oh, yeah.
So people who have been on The Biggest Loser, who have been 300 plus pounds for so many years, most of the time they gain it back because their body is actively trying to get them back to that stasis. It really, really sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I have I feel like my perspective around weight and fat and weight gain and stuff right now is just totally different than it's ever been. And I do think that being pregnant is really freeing. Like, you know, obviously there's a lot of downsides to being pregnant, but I just don't feel that pressure from society right now. I feel like finally the eyes aren't on me, you know. And if I do have a belly, it makes sense, you know. People are like, "Oh, good. That means things are healthy. Yay."
Well, I'm happy you
You
can
know?
take a break for once from worrying
It's
about
really
it.
nice. It's really nice. And I, you know, I don't know. I think year after year, I just kind of care less about being super skinny because for so long I did it in I've tried all these different things to like trick my body into losing weight, including some things that were very not healthy and not sustainable in the long term, and who knows, may have screwed up my metabolism, you know, to the point where I can't just eat healthy and not gain weight, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
um and I do think, and I also believe that the stress around that management of constantly thinking about what you're eating and how much and how is this going to affect my body, blah blah blah, you know, like, or how is it going to make my body look, that stress causes weight gain. You know, that stress is really bad too. And it causes more problems than just weight gain as well. And so I don't know, I just don't put as much, I don't care about it as much as I used to. And I have gained weight since, you know, 3 years ago. But like, I don't know, like I look at myself on camera right now. Now you're only getting waist up. So that helps. But I don't feel bad about the way I look. I feel good about the way I look, you know, and
totally.
And I don't have to feel any kind of feeling about my lunch except that it's delicious and nutritious, you know, and good for the baby and good for me. So I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like over doing things that might be unhealthy for me in the long term. You know, like I'm kind of over calorie counting. I'm kind of over fasting. I'm kind of over, you know, like I kind of just want to live my life and have a cookie now and then and not worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this whole struggle with food and self and body image is another thing that's deeply ingrained in
So,
both
yeah.
gender, both sexes, but also people, female in particular. It's like if you're a female, if you're identified as a female, then
Yeah.
you're expected to look and eat a certain way.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that also plays into what we were talking about before, of like women are more given more attention and yeah, more attention, more respect if you're considered traditionally beautiful. And being thin is a part of that, you know, toxic societal idea of what beauty is. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough.
Before we close out the stream today, I do want to just clarify some facts on this. Freezing your fat, just so we do have some actual answers here. Cool sculpting is what I was trying to think of. It's called Cool Sculpting. And I'm looking at a website that does it, and they have a little article on why freezing fat works. The lipids within the adipose cells, or fatty tissue, crystallize at a warmer temperature than ice crystals in water. Think about this. Olive oil hardens in the refrigerator, but water stays in its same liquid state. That's because fat is hypersensitive to cold. That's exactly what allows us to treat non-surgically through the bow. Okay, that's telling me how they do it, but
Okay.
what is it? Okay, so I obviously did not.
What does it mean?
I did not find
No,
the correct information.
okay, it's okay.
I really want to know why it works. Here's a health.harvard.edu article. There should be some kind of
I mean, it makes
answers in
sense to
here.
me that your fat cells grow, you know, when you have excess fat or nutrients or whatever, or, you know, calories, and they shrink when they, you know, when you don't have excess. So if you remove some of those, then you're just removing the amount of fat in your body.
Well, yeah, I mean, the getting rid of the fat makes sense, but I'm like, how is it harder for you to like rebuild the fat once you get rid of it? Other than, I guess I'm just looking for something more specific than what I just kind of like vaguely described.
Yeah.
But I'm not finding it right away.
I would just want to know if it's healthy, you know, like in the long term. If it's like, what I want to know what the long term effects are. Like, do you process fat differently after that?
Yeah, like, can it go somewhere else?
Because that's not going to change. Like, if I do that, that's not going to change my metabolism.
No, and that's why I was kind of saying, like, you do have to, like, you can rebuild that fat for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe it's just like, I don't know. So if somebody else knows, let us know in the Discord.
I feel like so many years of fasting on and off, and like you know, restricting my calorie intake and stuff like that slowed down my metabolism. And so for the past few years, I've been trying to just like have a normal pace or fast paced metabolism. So I've been focusing a lot less on amount, you know, and like restriction, and more on like eating things that are giving me nourishment, and eating things that are, and eating more often, eating before I'm hungry, you know, not eating more, but eating more often, if that makes sense.
Well, I've heard the best way to diet, which the what I've heard that I agree with most about how to eat is to eat to satiation, so to eat lots of protein and fat.
Yeah.
So, because if you're fuller for longer, that is the best way to, you know, quote unquote diet. You know, you're keeping yourself from being hungry.
Generally, Andy and I do avoid carbs, but I mean, right now, being pregnant, I'm not avoiding. I'm eating fruits.
Might as well. It's your time.
Yeah, I mean, but that said, I'm not like sitting down with a pint of ice cream, or you know.
I think you should.
Not that I would never sit down with a pint of ice cream, but you know, not doing it every
not
night.
Not that I'd
you know,
say no.
Yeah, I might do a pint here and there. But
Nortman did have an answer with the cool sculpting. It's a lot harder to rebuild, but when you lose weight, normally you just flatten the fat cells. They don't die. Freezing them breaks the cell wall.
Okay.
So I guess that kind of supports what I was saying about like, so when you gain weight, if they're not dead, then you can gain weight more easily because you're just filling up this cell that is already there. But if it's dead, then it's harder to build that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy that our evolution makes us want to gain weight, but our society makes us want to not. You know. And then there's the whole societal thing about like access to food, and what kind of food is affordable versus what kind of food is actually good for you. And that's a problem. That's a lot of problems.
That's the next just chatting.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, we got to do more of these just chattings because we can talk. I mean, like I'm not tired. You know, it's almost 6 and I'm not tired yet. We can just talk for hours. So
totally.
And everybody was in the chat too, participating.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of these conversations today. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for listening and responding and Googling things for us from time to time. Next time we'll see you will be on Monday. Yes?
Yes.
Just
Monday. Let's see.
Oh, Paleo Gaming said see you Sunday, Jersey Thompson. Got it.
Yeah, Monday. Don't know what's happening yet. Alex and I will talk about it, but we'll see you Monday.
Prometheus, you missed it. We're logging off.
Twitch didn't tell you what. Well, you know what? I did make a reference that you weren't here for. I forget what it was. It's in the very beginning.
We talked about magic for like a bit.
There's some other reference. Oh! I made a reference to how I'm an anesthesiologist, and you weren't even here to say it for me.
Sad face.
Oh, finale of Omega Horizon actual play on Sunday. Yes, the finale of the sci-fi RPG that I'm in, DM'd by Paleo Gaming, is Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so please be there. It is an amazing RPG. Catch up on previous episodes on VOD at twitch.tv/paleo_gaming. Really recommend it. It would mean the world to both of us if you could go check that out. So we are going to go send a raid over to the real Rogden. He's playing New World. Please go show him some love.
Yay!
We love Ron over at the Dungeon Run, and we love you.
And we love you.
We'll see you next week.
See you soon. See you
Bye.
Monday. Mwah, 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 mwah.